Support for the Lancast is provided by Whiny Way Books and Pennsylvania College of Art and Design.
Welcome to the Lancast. I'm David Moulton.
And I'm Keith Slesser. This week we spoke with the artistic director of Dance Envoy, Michelina Piazza.
Dance Envoy is currently enrolling students in their Dance with a Mission program, and Michelina shares a little bit about what that is.
What would it be like if we taught together without anybody else trying to tell us how to teach or what to teach or what our students needed to wear or become? And we just really started to grow this idea in our hearts for dance with a mission, meaning dance for children and adults that is not judgmental, that allows them to have fun and learn technique and feel beautiful without worrying about what other people might think or competition against other girls in the studio or whatnot.
Michelina has always been involved with dance in one way or another, and she shares a little about how she was inspired as a little girl to start dancing.
The only thing that I remember when I was as little as this, 3 years old, I remember dance. One of my mom's friends was a dance instructor. She was also a hula dancer, and I can remember watching her and her, other students doing hula and trying on hula skirts and whatnot. And I remember being in dance with her and her teaching me how to point my toes and just loving it.
Enjoy the conversation. Welcome to the show, Mick. So we've heard a little bit about the project called Dance with a Mission that Dance Envoy is putting on. Would you mind telling us a little bit about how that came about?
Yes. Actually, upon coming back to the United States, I met up with Alyson, Grine, who also goes to the same church as I do. And we just really got along awesome and just started to fabricate this idea of what would it be like if we taught together without anybody else trying to tell us how to teach or what to teach or what our students needed to wear or become. And we just really started to grow this idea in our hearts for dance with a mission, meaning dance for children and adults that is not judgmental, that allows them to have fun and learn technique and feel beautiful without worrying about what other people might think or competition against other girls in the studio or whatnot. So just kind of an open platform for dance instruction, that has the heart for Christ.
How would being in this program differ from being at a studio or something?
Well, first of all, we run things at a shorter sign-in rate. Basically, we'll say, okay, this is a 12-week program, so you don't have to commit to a whole year, which is great because then it facilitates, sports or if they have music or whatnot. So right there you have that difference. Also, we have small showcases at the end of each trimester. So instead of having to spend $45 and up on costumes to see your kid perform a 1-minute dance, you get to see your kid in their normal dance attire, but in a nice setting that's conducive to showing parents and friends, what they've been working on and what they've accomplished. So that, and most importantly, I think it's just the environment of family dancing. Like, we create a kind of a sisterhood bond. Instead of competing against each other, we work together. If somebody's having a hard time doing a particular step, we work together to figure out how we can get it together rather than worrying about she's too slow. I would be doing this way faster. Who needs that to slow us down? So
you said earlier, about open to children and adults. I heard you say adults too. I envisioned this as being mainly for kids, mainly because my daughters are part of it. But what kind of adult classes would you teach? I mean, is it like ballet or what kind of dance do you teach to the adults or to? Or to the children, too, I mean.
Well, for adults, we offer, I call it, Dance Fit ballet and a Dance Fit contemporary, which is kind of jazzy. So it's not just, ballet technique or jazz technique, but it actually gets you to have fun working out with only adults. So there's no children around to break up the atmosphere. It's just a fun time of fellowship as well as getting your workout without feeling like you're in the gym and somebody's staring at your butt. So that's what we really strive for the adult classes. But then for the children, we have ballet and creative movement, which encourages their imagination. So after they learn some technique, then they get to play around with it and say, okay, now we're swans on the lake, or today we're going on a treasure hunt and we're pirates, and, just really stretching their imagination to use dance as a conversation piece and seeing how you can communicate with movement. So there's ballet, creative movement. We're starting up hip hop this trimester, and we have lyrical for teenagers as well as a teenage hip hop. And that's pretty much what we're offering at this time for adults and children. And
teaching there is just you and, I forget the...
Alyson. Nope. Teaching with me, I have Alyson Grine as well as Leah Martin, who actually we grew up together as kids from under the same mentor in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. And then I also have a new instructor, Mariah Whistler, and she is our hip-hop instructor. She's young and feisty and a lot of fun. And so this trimester is really packed full with a lot of new instructors.
The performances that the kids put on, is there like a different dance style that you would teach them to perform rather than like maybe more of the mainstream approach?
Definitely. I would say when we're teaching ballet, classical ballet. So they're going to do little excerpts from a particular ballet. For instance, it was Christmas time, so we used Nutcracker music. So the creative movement class went on a, adventure to find the Snow Queen. And they were getting caught in a snowstorm and using ballet and other movements that they had learned during that trimester to portray that. And then the other girls danced other pieces from Nutcracker. And then we had a lyrical class, which lyrical is a mix of different techniques like jazz, ballet, and what we call contemporary or modern dance. And it's dance to words. So we had a Nicole Nordeman song that we danced to, and they really had a wonderful time. And I think that was the most moving of pieces that they did because it had words, and people kind of can feel that a little bit more sometimes when there's words.
How involved are the kids in the choreography of the act? Is it something that you kind of come up with the choreography and teach them, or do you let them have some say in how they're going to move or how they're going to dance?
Personally, I give them a lot of freedom, especially with the beginning levels, because I think that's such a important part of their growth as dancers, to be able to experiment with the movements that they have learned. Then they make them their own. That's why I incorporate that creative movement portion at the end. So they have to figure out how to tell the story. So I'll give them parameters that they can tell the story in, right? So I know that it's 16 counts, but I teach them in a way that they just understand the music and know when that 16 starts and ends. And during that time, they're ice skating on a lake. And so they have freedom to ice skate around, but they need to incorporate turns, jumps, slides, and chugs, for instance. And then however they decide to interpret, chugs.
What's an audio version of a chug?
Well, it's a pretty descriptive word. I mean, it would be chug, 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 chug. Right?
Well, I know that for a lot of people, dance is more than just an activity. It's also very much a lifestyle. So when people come out of this program, what kind of things have you instilled in them to take into their lifestyle?
Awesome question. I would say first and foremost for the children, discipline. Because just like karate and the martial arts, I have strong emotions for that too, because they really teach how to respect their elders, listen, stand still while something is being explained, and then act on it. So I think that's the most important thing that the children come out with, that parents notice, but also confidence that they might not have had before. Confidence to maybe step out, and talk first, because they just had to do all these crazy motions, that maybe they wouldn't have understood what to do before. They just gain that self-confidence and assuredness that no matter what they do, they're still beautiful, whether it's a mistake or not. Even falling down is encouraged because you went that far that you actually lost your balance. That's awesome, that you allowed yourself to go there, and is rewarded. So I think that shows in self-confidence at the end.
I can fall.
I'd clap every time.
I have a lot of confidence in you that you can do that.
Oh, thanks, David.
It's outer confidence
Thank you, David.
that she's instilled in me for you.
I mean, awesome. Great. I'll do
Great. That's all you got, right? Falling down is
I
the
can fall
most
down.
important. No. It's as long as you get back up, right?
Yep.
Right, there you go. See, I can get back up too.
Yeah.
You're stubborn that way.
How about for adults? What do they walk away with?
Good question.
Usually when adults come to me, they tell me they wish they danced or they used to dance, but there's nowhere that they can do it anymore that makes them feel comfortable. And I think that I encourage an environment that allows them to be themselves and to talk to the instructors about their problems, physically and maybe whatever comes up emotionally, because obviously dance stirs up a lot of things within your spirit. But I think that it gives them that reminder of childhood freedom, and that's something that we don't get to experience much as adults anymore. So I think that's the best thing, besides a great workout and feeling like, you got to sweat it out to something super fun.
How do you feel about line dancing?
I'm not very familiar with that. The last line dancing that I remember doing was with Merle at the bar. You were probably there.
I was, I'm sure. I'm sure it was probably terrible.
And I was like, what? I'll sit on the hair.
Everybody was probably running into each other. That's my experience with line dancing. People were always running into me. I'm like, what? Stop running into me.
I don't get
it. It's not because I don't know what I'm doing, though, that I run into people. It's just
not.
because they're all wrong.
That's the problem.
I don't make mistakes, right?
I
Especially
always
not when it's movement.
Right.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
You're not
I'm
movement
very
impaired.
coordinated.
I'm always telling people that. Keith he doesn't make movement mistakes.
I do yoga, damn it. Okay. So we're going to take a short break here, and afterwards we'll have some more with Michelina.
Hey everybody, we're here at Penn Cinema to find out what everyone's been talking about. Excuse me, why do you choose Penn Cinema?
I like the seats. They're really comfy. They're a lot nicer than most other places. Even my house.
Oh, well, this place is great. I mean, it's popcorn. Got some. We got a slushy machine over there. We got 3 clocks. 3 clocks for the Lidditz, the Lancaster, and the F at a time, just in case you don't know what time it is in your area. That's why I love this place. They think about everybody. Very friendly.
Has a nicer environment.
It's clean and comfortable. It feels independent. It doesn't feel like part of a system. Like, it feels like as big as it is and as polished as it is, that it feels independent,
Bigger screen, better quality.
So it's really close. It's very clean. We come here all the time.
What do you like about Penn Cinema?
The seats are my favorite thing. Very comfortable. On the rump.
3D IMAX, the whole shebang. It has a down-home feel, and we love the atmosphere that Penn has created. He really tries to take into account what people want in a theater. It's really clean, and the seats are really comfy.
Yeah, I like the seats. It's the best movie theater to come to.
Well, you've heard what they have to say. Now come see for yourself. Check out Penn Cinema for first-class movies in a first-rate theater. Located at 541 Airport Road in Lidditz, PA. Welcome back to the Lancast with Michelina Piazza from Dance Envoy. Mick, you went to the same school as Keith and I.
Yeah.
And you were in between us.
Mm-hmm.
And Class-wise.
Great. Rephrase.
That was awkward for all of us. Anyway.
Oh, my.
You've always been very passionate about dance,
Yes.
whether it was, putting performances on at school, interpretations of songs and stuff. When did this love for dance start for you personally?
That was my question.
Huh, beat you to it.
Come with another one.
Scary to say, I seriously can actually, the only thing that I remember when I was as little as this, 3 years old, I remember dance. Of like all the other things that I could remember. I had, one of my mom's friends was a dance instructor. She was also a hula dancer. And I can remember, and I don't know if this was something I fabricated in my mind or if it's true. I just remember watching her and her, other students doing hula and trying on hula skirts and whatnot. And I remember being in dance with her and her teaching me how to point my toes and just loving it. And so from there, I just always stayed with it. I said, Mom, I really want to do this because that's how 3-year-olds talk. And
I really want to do this.
This is something that my heart really desires, Mother. Please send me to dance.
Wow, she's really advanced 3-year-old.
Yeah, I must have been.
That's why she was 2 years ahead of me.
Oh,
Same
exactly.
age, yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's probably why. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, no. But seriously, from then on, I just remember always making dances out of everything, and continuing everywhere and everywhere I went, just dancing like a fiend.
Would you consider yourself a dancing queen?
No.
Can I?
He stole my question. I had a good one.
Can I personally say thank you for all the times your dancing at school got me out of class?
Wicked. Sure.
Wait, when did dancing
really?
get
When
me out
did
of class?
Yeah, come on, because
we recitals and stuff, and or not recitals, but you would have a song that you did dance for. Maybe they would tack it onto something else, but it would just
I led half the chapels.
Yeah,
okay,
it was Keith was leading worship.
when she was
David thought it was my show, and Keith.
No, when she was a senior.
Yeah, because then Keith was gone, so it was my show.
So it was your show.
You were one grade ahead of her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
99 is when I graduated.
Yeah.
No, I was 2000.
You were 99.
I meant 98. Yeah, I was ahead.
I was a 2.
Well, 99. I graduated.
I'm special.
I graduated, and I'm not the same. I'm older than you.
Yes.
Whoa,
I'm grabbing at straws here.
Let's not pull out the big guns.
Yeah. Age before beauty. Yeah, that actually worked with that one. So, Mick, in your dance career here, I guess, or your dance as you were learning it, what different forms did you seem to were you drawn to over other forms, or other forms that you didn't like as much? We already learned that line dancing is not your forte. So what is your passion of dance, or is there specific?
For sure, modern dance is my forte, for sure. That's what I was given a degree in at school. That was my emphasis. And basically it's a type of movement where I wouldn't say anything goes, but it has a lot more earthy, organic feel to it. So you don't wear shoes. You do a lot of different curving of the spine, and it's a lot freer than, say, ballet, although the technique also comes from that. But when I was a kid, I also studied Caribbean dance. I studied a little bit of flamenco, and so I really was obsessed with world dance. And I use that a lot in my choreography. And a lot of times, it would be a little bit controversial because it is world dance, and from Lancaster, they don't really have their eyes open to that existence, I guess you would say. So
they interpret it as like a more risque type dance type thing.
I mean, I don't see how you can get that from a 9-year-old, but sometimes, it would be a challenge because the music tells you what to do. And I think my spirit leads that God is always in the dance that I do. It just happens for me. That's how when I do improvisation, it comes from somewhere that I don't know always. And that's what's really fun and exciting about it. But some people can't touch in with that because it's uncomfortable, I think, to not understand how, this person can just go off and start dancing to this music, and it makes so much sense.
Do you ever dance? I know you see a lot of comedy sketches about this, like on Saturday Night Live, but like interpretive sort of dance, where there's a message to what you're trying to convey, something to the people that are watching.
Yeah, I think always I'm trying to convey something. Maybe I don't always have a specific thought in mind, but I know that more lately I've been doing life experience, so it's kind of testimonial, but not in like and Jesus saved me, not like that, but just life experiences and how the ups and downs in our life take us to new places, and it just is good. Just like it's good songwriting material, it's good dance making material. So, did that answer your question? I don't even know. Yeah.
Have you ever had anyone see your dances and maybe become offended or think that it wasn't appropriate?
Actually, in college, I tried to do a lot of lyrical choreography, so dancing to music with words, and my instructors hated it. They couldn't stand watching me dance to words. I could take the same choreography that I did and put it to a different piece of music, and they were obsessed by it. So, yes, I offend people because they don't like when I throw the message in their face. So sometimes I choose to choreograph to music without words, and then switch it, or vice versa, so that I can get the message that I want through my movement without people knowing exactly, but let them have the freedom to gather what their spirit allows and not shove it down their throat. I think that's the biggest thing that I learned in not offending people.
Dance has obviously influenced your everyday life with Dance Envoy, but before Dance Envoy, what kind of places did it take you in your life's journey?
Well, after I finished college, I got a job right away performing a type of modern dance from Isadora Duncan in Massachusetts. So it was a seasonal type of a job. So we performed when we could perform outside and get eaten alive by mosquitoes in the swamp, which was a lot of fun. But after that, I moved into another...
Worked it into your choreography.
Exactly. Hey, it's awesome. But I think that's another fun thing for me is to be in different venues that dance normally isn't, because by putting it into a more real atmosphere, people feel a little bit more comfortable. And after Boston, I moved to Philadelphia because I just didn't want to go to New York. I just didn't feel like I wanted to deal with that. So I thought, well, I'll take a baby step and go to Philly and see what I can do there. That was a big dud. There was not enough dance for me to really get involved in what I wanted to do, and I felt just stagnant. So after a really short period, I ended up moving to New York after all, and I stayed there for 3 years, and I got to dance with some other pretty experimental and maybe fusion-based dance, meaning one of my favorite companies that I danced with was called Neville Dance Theater, and we actually performed pieces of modern with ballet as well as flamenco and tango, all mixed in together. So it was a lot of fun. It was a really great time to be able to mix all of those things together. And then I got tired of New York. So I went to Italy, and that's when I really started to move out and branch out into that endeavor of Dance Envoy. Because it was hard enough to speak the language, and to be able to perform is to speak any language. So with dance, I felt like I could bridge that gap that the language barrier had created. And automatically, I was working, once I moved to Italy, within a few weeks, I had a job teaching at a dance studio, and I could barely speak the language. But after another week, I was speaking pretty darn well to order 20 little 4-year-olds around the room successfully. So,
yeah, it's hard
that's
to
a
do
brief
any
summary of.
English. I have trouble with 2.
Yeah. You have to be very animated. That's for sure. Convincing.
Well, now, having grown up with the music, being a professional dancer, what is the path that you would advise people to take if they have a child and that child loves dance and they're like, our child wants to be you? Like, what would be the advice that you would give them?
I think it's important to make sure that your children are under proper mentoring, meaning they're not going to Dolly Dinkins dance school that just wants them to put on the shiny costumes and listen to whatever boombox music comes out, but to teach them really a technique. And so I think starting with ballet is very, very important because that's the basis for all dance. I think that teaches them like I was saying earlier, that discipline, similar to that you learn in martial arts. It's serious, but still fun because at the end you still get to leap over, invisible crocodiles and all sorts of things. So finding a school that values technique over show would be my recommendation.
Well, Mick, thanks for being on the show. And if someone wanted to contact you about Dance Envoy or Dance with a Mission, how could they go about doing that?
We have a website, www.danceenvoy.com. That really shows all the information that, you can basically need or want or desire. But there's a contact form there that you can reach us. We have classes based out of Lidditz. Actually, we're in Linden Hall Dance Studio, so it's pretty accessible from all around Lancaster. And yeah, I think the website is the best. info@danceenvoy.com is our email.
Well, Mick, thanks again for spending some time with us and talking about your life's journey in dance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for having me.
We hope you've been enjoying the Lancast.
This episode was produced by myself, David Moulton, with show notes by Keith and Lauren Slesser.
All pertinent links to this episode can be found in the show notes at thelancast.com.
If you specifically liked this episode, we ask that you consider making a donation.
Every little bit helps. Even $1 a show can keep us going.
If you'd like to help support us, you can do so by going to thelancast.com/donate.
And don't forget to subscribe in iTunes and tell a friend about the show.
So, for the Lancast, I'm David Moulton.
And I'm Keith Slesser.
Asking, are you in the cast?